Okay. And let me go ahead and do share screen. Oops. Sorry about this. Oh, now I can't see any of you. Sorry. Okay. I'm not going to be able to do that as I want to do this because it'll take up the whole screen and I can't see you. But let's go ahead and begin. Sorry about that. My name is Bernadette Muscat. I'm Dean of Undergraduate Studies. Dean Loham, please.
Hi, everybody. My name is Elizabeth Loam. I am lucky enough to be the interim dean of the Division of Graduate Studies.
And Celeste, please.
I'm Celeste DiMonte, Program Review Coordinator, and I'm lucky enough to work with both Dean Muscat and Dean Loam, who've been always super helpful in the program review process.
All right, and we're very grateful to be working with Celeste. So keeping us all honest. So this is your team. As you have questions or concerns as you go through the program review process, we are here for you. If it's undergraduate related, obviously, please reach out to me. If it's graduate related, Dean Lom, we often confer with one another, and then Celeste is always your go-to person as well, to triage to either one of us as needed. So any questions, any concerns at any point, please know that we're here for you and we're happy to answer questions as you move through this process, which is really incredibly important for us for our national accreditation. As you know, we had WASC here a few weeks ago. And one of the things that they did say was that our program review looked really good, which is something that does not often happen at various schools. And so that's really a testament to the work that all of you do with your 5-year reviews. And then some of you here are also here because you're an accredited program, and then we go through an internal accreditation process as well. So all of this to say is that we take this process very seriously, and so too that was recognized by our accreditors that we do, which is really what we ultimately want to see and have here. So I'll go ahead and share screen. We'll go ahead and begin with this so that I can actually see you. I will have I'm not going to have like a clean copy of this, but we'll go ahead and go through with this. So, so our program review website, please peruse that as needed. There's a lot of really great information there for you as you go through the review process. On the website, if you go into it, it's obviously under the Division of Academic Affairs, and there's a program review process. It talks about accredited programs, non-accredited programs, and then we also have a process for our CGE programs. And each one of these are a little bit different because of the nature of the programs and what they are. There'll be the orientation documents, which we're seeing here, which will be there for you if you need to review them at a later time. And then the academic program review schedule will be listed under the respective colleges so that you can see that as well. Program review happens every 5 years if you are a non-accredited program. If you are an accredited program, you'll follow the accreditation cycle of your accrediting organization, which I think the fewest is every 3 years, and then I think the longest is 15 years. So they vary, but you would follow the cycle according to your accredited program. The actual process for a program review, and this is, I'm going to be talking about internal program reviews, non-accredited programs first. So how that works is October, which is exactly where we are right now. We have an orientation process that we are going through with each of you. We'll explain what the process is and then how to navigate it and those kinds of things. Between November and March, your program will need to complete their internal review process, their self-study. The self-study documents and templates and everything that you will need for this is on the program review website. So you'll complete the study draft, you'll get that to the college dean, and then in April, you'll go ahead and complete that. I'm trying to open this up so that I can see this better. You'll send the self-study team nominations to the program review officers. So your program reviews excuse me, officers, and you really want to try and work on this as quickly as possible because sometimes it's hard to lock down your team. Your team will consist of somebody internal to the college but outside of the department, somebody internal to the university but outside of your college. And then the third person is the one who's kind of difficult to lock down, and that's somebody who's internal to the field but external to the university. And there are various rules associated with that. So typically we don't have somebody who's on sabbatical. We also typically don't have individuals who are in FERP or anything along those lines. So we want to make sure that we have somebody who, you know, is willing to do the time commitment associated with a program review. So as early as we can lock that down, the better, because then we also need to lock down the schedules for them to be able to come to the team. Once you have those individuals nominated, please share those with Celeste, and then she'll ensure that the team is ready to go. In the fall semester, so this is all this year, then next year, in the fall semester, so 2026, that's when your review team site visit will occur. They'll come to campus. It's typically a one-day endeavor. If you're doing both a undergraduate and graduate, these are typically 2 days or a day and a half. They'll come to campus. They'll typically see, you know, your program, if you have any labs, if you have any studios, things along those lines. There'll be a syllabus review. They will have reviewed your self-study report in advance. They'll also meet with the deans. They'll meet with faculty. They'll meet with students and alumni from your program. And then typically they see facilities on campus that are shared, such as our library. So they'll do all of those during their site visits. And then about 2 to 3 weeks later, they will write up their report. Their report will then go to the respective undergraduate or graduate deans first. They'll be reviewed at that level. Then they'll be sent over to the departments. The departments will have an opportunity to respond and submit their report, their response, to the college dean's office. The college dean's office will then also have 2 weeks to respond to the department response. And then, excuse me, as soon as all of that is done, anywhere between October till February is when it will go to the respective university level committee. So that is either your undergraduate or graduate, or both, if both programs are under a review. They will then review the documents, and then they will respond in either March or April. And then a few weeks after that, you'll have the closing meeting, which is the planning and implementation, your basically your exit review. And at that meeting, you'll discuss what happened in the self-study, the response from the site team, the response from the department, the dean, and then what will you be planning for the next 5 years? So what are the goals that you're trying to achieve over the next 5-year review period? There's a lot of wiggle room in all of this because it's got to go through so many steps and stages. So the earlier that you can get in the fall semester your site review team, the better it is that you can complete the whole cycle by the end of that year. We often have to give extensions, so please keep that in mind. And you know, that also slows down the process that goes into it. So this is the overall process of this. Any questions about any of this? Okay, we went through all of these.
Bernadette, I would just
Yes.
say that in some cases this year, programs actually had their review team in place even before the end of the semester, and that was even better. We knew ahead of time. So then we could jump right on to planning the actual dates in September, especially, and we've got a lot of programs that will be in review. So the more we can spread out the site visits,
The better.
the better for particularly like you and Dean Loam, because you have to be at all those meetings.
Yes, for sure. I think I saw Alejandra's hand first, please.
Yes, I just want to check that the timeline is the same, whether you're actually undertaking the program review for undergraduate versus graduate programs.
So when you have multiple programs together, so like an undergraduate and graduate, you'll need to have two separate and distinct reports. If there's any difference, if there's things in common, it's perfectly okay that you share. Obviously, your faculty will be the same, your resources will likely be the same, those kinds of things. But
Yeah.
where they differ, they definitely need to be different. Your
No,
site-
totally. What I was asking is the timeline, and we are so lucky that our 3 programs in the department are going to be evaluated, which is 2 graduate programs and 1 undergraduate program.
Yeah, so
Timeline
you
is the
want,
same.
yeah, so you want them all to be on the same timeline. I know that seems to be a lot of work, and it is. I recognize that. I did the review in my own home department with 4 majors and graduate programs, and so I understand that it's a lot. But it's certainly better to do that all at once rather than do one program and then the next year the other program and then the next year the other program. It's far better to be able to just have a singular program review in general. And then you, as the 5 years, the department then moves forward in that particular direction. You also likely want to pick somebody who can serve for your external review, who can serve as both the undergraduate and graduate. You really don't want to have 2 site review teams for that. You want to have a singular site review team for that also. I don't know whose hand went up next. Apologies. So if somebody could just jump in.
So my name is Sam Nunsuk from Art History. I have a question about the reviewer who is in the field but outside of our university. Can it be someone who is recently retired from Sac State?
We'd have to confirm that if that's okay. Typically, if my memory serves it, I think it's okay, but we need to check with their faculty affairs and our faculty affairs to make sure that that's okay. Obviously, if it's not, you'll need to pick somebody else. But if memory serves me, I think it's okay, but we need to check with both campuses. Celeste, I see you shaking your head, so can you add to that?
I believe we just did that in for HEAL. I believe their outside reviewer had recently retired. It's my
Okay.
Thank you.
confirm that, but I believe that's true.
Yeah, and then we'd make sure that we confirm that with their campus as well to see that there's no issues with that. The other thing that you really should consider with your external person is that it's often best if they're within the CSU because they know the system, they know the constraints that we're under, they know the resources that we have or don't have. They're under the same sort of guidelines through the chancellor's office, same policies, those kinds of things. When we begin to bring in other individuals from private institutions outside of the state, even from the UC system, their perspective of what programs should or shouldn't have can often be so different that some of the recommendations that they have are just things that we can't really do as a system. So you're not precluded from picking somebody outside of the CSU. It's something for you to take into consideration as you pick that external person, that they may be making recommendations for all of you that just isn't possible. Just as an example, they might make a recommendation that you create a PhD program. Well, that's not possible. We can't do that by legislation. So that would be one example of something that would not be, it's just not something that's feasible for us. So, and other like things come up in the process of that. Were there any other questions? Okay. So when you get to the elements of the self-study, it should be one self-study for each degree. So if you're having multiple majors being reviewed, multiple undergraduate majors being reviewed, you want to have one for one bachelor's degree program, one for another bachelor's degree program, and then if you have a graduate program, a separate graduate program, because each one of these will be their individual reports, and each one of them will be sent to the respective committees individually. Your responses will be to them individually. So we don't want to have one big huge report that just brings everything together. If we get those in advance, we will send them back to the team and we'll ask them to separate them out. So to make sure that you are sending things forward that are individual so that they are in that mode. There is a some self-study template, as I've mentioned, and then there's the OIE data set. So one of the things that you'll need to do is review your data set and respond to that data set from OIE. It is only the data set for program review that you are responsible for. OIE will make this available to you, but it's important that you understand that if you want them to slice or dice the data, or what if we did this, or what if we did, that's not what OIE is going to do. OIE cannot be your personal researchers for self-studies. They will provide the overall data that is given to every single department so that they're comparable across departments. But they will not provide any additional resources or data analysis associated with the data that they provide for the program review data set. This is an overview of what the template looks like so that you can see all of the different areas that we look for. Brevity is really the key with this because there's so many different steps and stages that go into it. You don't want to be overly, you want to have both breadth and depth, let's put it that way. But you don't want to go into so much detail that just the narrative portion of your review is, over 100 pages. That's not what we're looking for with this. We want the questions answered. We want them adequately answered. We want all of the questions answered. If something's not applicable to you, then just say not applicable. If there's things that if the program review doesn't take into consideration, we have places for other, and that's where you should put that additional information in there.
Bernadette, I realized I should have updated the self-study image. There'll be the questions are similar, but we've put a new template, or by the time you're ready to pick it up, be a new template on the program review website that looks slightly different than the image there. It's more accessible.
Perfect, and we appreciate that, and all of you will as well. The program review, as I said, there's OIE has data sets for both graduate and undergraduate programs. They're very self-explanatory. Should you have any difficulty accessing them or anything along those lines, please reach out to OIE and they'll provide that access. Your review team. So I provided a little bit of information about this already in terms of your off-campus and to on-campus. Some useful contacts are provided there for library tours and things along those lines. The agenda, we provide a basic agenda of what's suggested. Typically, program reviews start with an opening meeting that's either given by Dean Loam or myself. We welcome the team. We give them an overview of what program review looks like on this campus. We walk them through what the expectations are, the deadlines, those kinds of things. That's typically from 8:30 to 9 o'clock in the morning. It does take about 20 to 30 minutes. And then the rest of the day is mix and match as it works for, your dean's schedule, your student schedule, those kinds of things. Typically, program review is open to everybody within your department. Sometimes the dean's office wants to speak with the site review team by themselves, so you'll need to discuss that with the dean's office in advance. And then the visits with students and alumni are closed. That is only for the site review team, so they should not be present. There should be no other person beyond the site review team and the students present at that meeting. And then we close out the day with an exit meeting, which gives you a preview of what to expect in their report, which you should receive within a few weeks. We've talked about this already. Here's the nomination panel form that we've talked about. Okay, so that takes you through those programs that are not accredited. Are there any questions about those? Yes, Blaine, please.
Hey, just a quick point of clarification. The self-study that you're talking about, that's for members of the department to prepare, right? Because you mentioned team, but that's a department level thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
I just
Sometimes
wanted
there's a team, sometimes there's just a coordinator. It really depends on how
how-
it's written by your department.
Okay.
Sometimes
Alright.
there's an undergraduate coordinator who does just that, coordinates, and then a separate graduate.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have somebody who does all of them. Sometimes it's a team that's divvied out and they do certain parts of the template. It's completely up to the department as to how you want the self-study completed, but that's internal to the program.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep, sure. Okay. The abbreviated program is for those programs that are externally accredited. And so what happens is you'll go through your regular accreditation process, and this is really for the undergrads, and then I'll provide a little bit of detail on the grads. So once you've gone through your accreditation process, and of course you'll follow whatever process or procedures are required by your accrediting body, then you'll provide an evidence of accreditation. This letter is typically written to the president from the accrediting board. There'll also be a site visit report that will go along with that. We'll need to make sure that we get a copy of those. And then at that point, what happens is if it's an undergraduate program, I will review an up-to-date SOAP. I'll look at the OIE data set associated with your program review, and then I will write a memo, just a summary, and I'll send that, close that out. I'll send that to the provost. I'll send that to the deans and to the departments. And then from there, we'll close out the cycle for the accrediting body. On the graduate side, you'll provide all of this information, but it will still go to the graduate program review committee. They will go through and do a complete review of that program as well. They will write up a summary that will then go to the provost, the department, the provost, and the deans, and then we'll close out those cycles. So just a little bit difference between whether it's undergrad or grad. For accreditation, there's a process in advance of them coming to campus because we want to make sure that we keep our accreditation. So for these, this consists of the dean of undergraduate or graduate, depending upon which is relevant, our Office of Institutional Effectiveness, and our University Assessment Coordinator. All of these individuals need to review the final report or the final draft before it gets sent to the accrediting body. In addition to these, at the department level, the department chair needs to review it. Any faculty data collectors, any faculty accreditation quarters, pretty much all eyes need to be on that document within the department. And then at the college level, certainly the deans and associate deans, the college assessment coordinators, accreditation coordinators, all of those need to also see this. And the idea behind all of this is that we have so many eyes on this document that by the time it gets sent out to the accrediting body, all I's are dotted, all T's are crossed, and it's an excellent product being put forward. Because of course, if we're up for accreditation, we want our programs to maintain their accreditation. That's the goal of this, which is why there's so many different steps and stages for this. You want to be meeting within a year and a half to 2 years in advance. We provided this proposed meeting schedule so that you can see the frequency within which you should be meeting. Certainly, if you need to be meeting more, please do that. But you should not be meeting less than this to make sure that all the different entities see this. By the time it comes to my level or Dean Loam's level, I would say to give us at least 2 weeks to review those documents. They're typically very lengthy documents, and there's a lot that goes into nationally accredited programs. We've been given them in piecemeal sometimes. That's okay. But again, it's not ideal because you want to see the totality of the document to see if it's consistent throughout, answering all of the questions, those kinds of things. It typically takes about a 2-week review for us to go through all of that. It needs to be in a format that's editable, such a word. But like a Google Doc or something like that, so that we can review that and make comments along the way. PDF is not ideal, as it's hard for us to edit and make comments on those. Then once we've completed our review, there's a signature form going along with that, and that just shows that it's been reviewed at all of these various levels. We want all of these signatures in place before the final documents are sent out to the accrediting body. And then for this, you can just see the accrediting workflow that, it goes from the department, it goes then to the college then will pretty much sign off on it. It will go to the university levels, and we'll do the final review for everything. That process is really needed because it obviously internal to the college, you'll know much more about the curriculum and the resources and those kinds of things than we would at the university level. So we're really dependent on that review at the college level to make sure all of those things are in place, and then we do a final review. Then for CGE and interdisciplinary studies programs, they also go through a 5-year review. They'll have the individual coordinating the degree will serve as the lead for their program review process. That coordinator will designate another faculty teaching or they may designate somebody in the program to teach as a lead or to serve as a lead. The coordinator or that designee may delegate the work to other people within the program, and then that individual also follows the program review guidelines for non-accredited programs. We have these a little bit different because some of the things that they may need to do may be a little bit different than some of the others. So for example, we've got a 2-year completion program that's fully online, so that process is a little bit different. We also have a program through our local prisons, and so that program also has a little bit of differences with that, with certainly site visits and those kinds of things, but they're meant to mirror the program review that we have on campus. So with that, are there any questions? Yes, I think I saw Annette's hand up first.
You might have already said this, but when is the timeline for putting together the reviewers, the external reviewer?
The earlier you can do that, the better. The sooner that we have them on board, the better that it is. We say by the end of this semester, but if you could get them to us tomorrow, that would be lovely.
All right. Thank you very much.
Sam, I think I saw your hand up next, and then Kathy.
Yes, so Artistry again. So Artistry is part of the accreditation review already. So we don't need to have the external reviewer to come to campus to review us again, right?
If you're an accredited program,
Yes.
no, you don't need to do that.
Okay.
Your site review team will be dictated by your accrediting body. They will send the individuals to the university. They will complete whatever program review they want, which is likely far more detailed than what we outlined for our internal program review process. You'll obviously need to follow whatever requirements they have as part of that process. And then you won't get anything to us then until they provide final accreditation.
I see. So we just submit that report to you. Thank you so much, Dean.
Yes, of course. Kathy, and then I see something in the chat too, but go ahead, Kathy, and then I'll.
Yeah, so you just answered one of the questions. I don't send it because we had the MSN we done in September last year, so I'll have to do the report for that, for the internal review. We got our accreditation in May.
Yeah, so what you'll need to do for that is send the accrediting letter to Celeste. She'll share that with Dean Loam,
Mhm.
And then Dean Loam will work with you as to what additional documents are needed so that it goes over to the graduate program review committee.
Okay, and then, so we just had the DMP site visit this September. So then I'm anticipating getting the letter in May. So then I would do the same process,
Yeah,
correct?
same process.
And then
Yep.
nothing is needed for like an interim report because the BRN just did an interim report on us, but it's not the national certification. Okay.
No, it's
Okay.
just when you get the final letter. And
Okay.
Sam, I have a quick question for you. Did you complete, has your team already come to campus to visit?
That's for me, right? The question.
Yes, yeah,
No, no, for the NASAT accreditation, no, we don't have that yet, but we are working with Martin. So Martin is our leader in that.
okay,
We are part of that.
so for that, make sure that before you send your documents to the accrediting body, keep in mind back when you need to deadline to send it to them, but that needs to be reviewed by the dean, by the associate dean, by your college like assessment coordinator, certainly by your department. And then if it's undergrad, I need to review it. If it's graduate, Dean Loam also needs to review it. It needs to go to Dr. Doug Fraley, who's our university assessment coordinator, as well as Dr. George Still from OIE. So before it leaves this campus, all of those people have to have seen it and sign off on it.
Can
So
I just say
please
a comment on that?
plan accordingly. Oh, yes, hello.
Yes, I'm leading the actual NASA accreditation for the
Yep.
department, or actually the school. So we're almost there. Like I mentioned to you in the email, you should have it in your desk by the end of this month.
Okay,
So we're a little bit ahead of the timeline.
well, that's
We're
perfect.
working with the Dean Chapman. She provided the edits this past Monday, so we should be finished by next week.
Great. So it can go simultaneously then to me, to Dr. Fraley, and to OIE, to Dr. Still. But it needs to go in a format that we can edit.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you. Yep, and then expect about a 2-week turnaround. We try and get it in faster, but we do want the time to spend with that because we're the final review before sending it in. So, Blaine, please.
Yes. Back to the team we're putting together. Is there an expectation that the department member be the department chair on the team?
On your self-study?
Yeah.
No, it does not need to be the department chair.
Okay.
So
Well,
you do-
sorry, I thought that the team that we're going to put together, there's going to be somebody outside the university.
I think
So your site.
Blaine is, she's thinking two different teams. Blaine, there's the site visit team.
Talking about the site visit team.
Oh,
Okay.
that's different.
Yeah, no, your
Yeah.
chair, no.
You can be. It can be a department chair. That's
But
fine.
there's not an
But does not have to be a department chair. No.
Okay. That was my question. Thank you for clarifying
Yeah.
that and
And
for
then-
clarifying my question.
Yeah,
And-
and then for your group internal that writes
that
the
can be
report,
anybody, yeah.
that could be anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
that-
and then
that
the
doesn't matter
person
either.
who is outside the department on campus, so they also have to be outside the college?
So you have to have one person inside the college, so somebody from social sciences,
Okay.
but not in history.
Got it.
Then somebody who is outside of social sciences. And then somebody in history outside of the university.
Oh, so that's 4, so I missed one. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so the site review team is only 3. So nobody from your department is on the site review team. You only have someone outside of history, but
Okay,
from social sciences.
okay,
Then your second member on the team is somebody outside of social sciences. And then your third person is outside of Fresno State, but from the discipline of history.
okay, I misunderstood. I thought you said that there was a department member who had to be on the site review team.
No.
Got it.
We definitely don't want that because we don't want somebody internal. to
Sure,
the
yeah, no,
process.
that makes sense to me.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's all external reviewers.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. And it's just specifically designed that way so that as issues come up, somebody can say, oh, well, within social sciences, this is how we do it. So that you have that internal, the college understanding Then you have somebody who's in the university, but who can provide the perspective of outside of the college. Well, so at our college, we do this way, or those kinds of things. And then you have somebody who's discipline specific, so they know about history and what's at the forefront and what programs should be looking like, promising practices moving forward, what kind of curriculum should be in, all of those kinds of things. But then they're not biased and they're not within the university either. Okay. Other questions? Oh, let me
Yeah,
see.
yes, Bernadette, there was a question, which is a good one
Compensation.
about, yes, compensation and expenses. Compensation currently for the external reviewer 2025 is 1,188. That is, the external reviewer is the only one to receive compensation. And because of that, that's why they are given the job of doing the final write-up. The other expenses involved with the site visit, Fresno State will pay for the hotel room and I will make the arrangements as we're getting close for that. The department in review is responsible for like providing lunch that, if it's a one-day site visit, usually that's done on campus catering, and that's all, the department takes care of that. Travel, expenses like mileage or airfare for the external reviewer is paid on, travel's reimbursed, and then they get a per diem, the external reviewers. Did I cover all costs? I think that's about it.
So sorry, there's no like honorarium or no,
There is.
sorry, I missed that.
Go ahead, Celeste.
Well, there's a stipend for the external reviewer. The internal reviewers are not there. We always send a thank you letter and thank you for their service that they can use for RTP. But yeah, so no.
It's about $1,100, right? Isn't that what you said?
It's for the external reviewer, it's 1,188 as of this year. I don't know if that'll change.
Okay.
And it's only available to the external reviewer
Yes.
because the external reviewer is expected to write the report. In the event that the external reviewer does not fulfill that obligation, then the stipend is shared between the internal reviewers. And if both internal reviewers don't participate in that and only one person writes it, then it would go to that person. But that's not how it's intended to be. So we track them down as best as we can to ensure that the external reviewer does as they promise to do. Other questions?
There was a question in the chat as to who can provide additional information and guidance on the way, and that's why I get the big bucks. So yes, feel free to ask me and I will help you as best I can. And if it's a stumper, then I will refer to my fabulous mentors, Bernadette and Elizabeth. But I'm always here to answer questions.
Rosa, please.
Hi, good morning. Is there and I don't have access to the website at the moment, but is there anything in existence that could be a document that'll list what the responsibilities are for each member of the review team? So that way, when we approach somebody to ask about their availability and willingness to serve, we kind of give them a clear sort of indication of what are the tasks that they'll be expected to fulfill?
We have the and it's we have a template for the review team report as what's expected information that they'll be writing down. That could be a good resource. And there is a description there on the program review website. We have a link to a PDF document that explains the whole process, and I believe there's some description in there of what's expected.
Thank you.
Anything else? Going once? Going twice? Okay, we are here for you. Please, I know that this is a big process and there's a lot to it and a lot rides on these programs, particularly the ones that are nationally accredited. So just know that we're here for you throughout this process. There's no question that is too small or certainly not one that we likely haven't heard before. We're here to help you. The goal is to have all of our programs accredited, to have all of them come through with excellent program reviews. And as I always tell people with program review, it's a time to be, I know there are a lot of work, but there are time to be reflective upon where you've been and then to dream for what you would like your program to be. So, okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you. Good luck with the process. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, did you have a question? Oh, no. Yours, did you have questions? I'm guessing not. Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure that there was nobody who had any questions that they didn't want to ask in front of the group.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Sounds good. All
Bye.
right. See you. Bye.